Hello, my friends. Today we're going to be making this fun card that I actually cased from the Stampin' Up! 2022 to 2023 annual catalog. So if you would like to see how I made this card, please keep watching. So to start my card, I turned to page 23 of the annual catalog, and the card I was inspired by is this one here. Now they use the textured chic Memories and More cards and envelopes for some of these, and I think the designer series paper. I'm using a different designer series paper, but this is just what I based my card off of. So when you case, it's copy and share everything or copy and selectively edit. So I took this as my inspiration and made that card with it. So it's slightly different, but still you could see where I pulled the colors. I used the soft succulent, the crumb cake, the petal pink. So let's get started making this card. So I'm going to be using the Paradise Palms stamp set and the Palms dies. We're only going to be doing a little bit of stamping. I'm going to be using these palm trees here and also a sentiment. You can use whichever sentiment you like. You don't even have to use one from the set. Use whatever you have. And we're also going to be using the Palms dies, but I'm only going to be using this palm leaf, and that is it. But those are all the dies. Look how pretty those are. I'm going to set that aside. I'm also going to be pulling in another die set. This is Stylish Shapes, and it has squares, some banners, some circles. I already pulled out my circle. We're going to be using this one. So we're going to do our die cutting first because I want to show you a little trick I do. So I have all the pieces for our card here. I have a petal pink card base, and I'm going to list the measurements right now on your screen so you can screenshot those. You can write them down, pause the video, take a screenshot if you're on your phone, whatever works for you. So I have my petal pink card base. I have a basic white piece for the inside. This is going on the front of our card, as is this piece of the lovely linen designer series paper. This is the soft succulent. That's the other side of it. I really like that soft succulent. I have a scrap of soft succulent for die cutting, and then our sentiment is going on this. So I'm going to move everything out of the way that I'm not die cutting with. So this is going to be the front of our card. I'm actually going to die cut this white part with this circle, and we're going to hide it with our designer series paper. That's exactly what I did on this card, and you can't even tell. So that's my little trick for not using a ton of paper. So I have the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here, and what you have to do with this piece of paper, because it just fits through there, you have to make sure you're not going to damage the edges. So it barely fits in there. And I'm just going to set that right in the center. I want to make sure my designer series paper will cover it up. And I'm just going to run it through. We have our circle. It's not perfectly centered, but that's okay. I got a little muck on the side, but that's also okay because the designer series paper is going to cover it up. So then for the soft succulent, I have some adhesive sheets here. And I like the adhesive sheets because they turn die cut basically into a sticker. But what I like to do is, these are large sheets. I like to just cut about what I'm going to need. And for this is for the palms. And if you don't get adhesive on every single inch of your die cut, it's okay. I find that it's not that big of a deal. If a little piece sticks up, you can take a glue dot or a Tombow glue, whatever you have. Sometimes, though, I do have trouble getting this first layer off. There we go. So it just peels back, and then you have a sticky side here. I'm going to put that on my cardstock, smooth it out, and then I'm just going to flip it over and put my die cut. So I'm going to push this back through so you can see. Cardstock, die, whoops, cutting plate, and then we're going to run this through and do it again. We're going to need 2 of these. So now that my die cut machine is out of the way, this is what that little palm does. And you can see on the back, I have my adhesive sheet, and it doesn't cover the whole thing. That's completely fine. I am totally okay with that. As long as most of it is covered. This one's pretty good, but as long as most of it is covered to where it will stick to your card. Now let's do some stamping now that we have our die cut pieces. So I'm going to bring back in my circle, and I'm going to use these palm trees here and this sentiment, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. I already have them on my block, so I have an E block for the palm trees, and I have a B block for the sentiment. I'm going to grab my crumb cake ink. We're only using one ink color for this card. And I'm just going to ink it up. I'm not pushing too hard, just tap, tap, tap. Making sure I get ink on all of the palm trees. Going to kind of line it up with my grid paper. And I'm going to go full strength, which means I put an ink into paper. I'm going to do that one time. And then I'm going to actually, before I do anything else, I'm going to go down a little bit and stamp off. So then what I'm going to do on this one is tap, tap, tap. I'm going to stamp onto my grid paper and then stamp down here. That way these are the same level of inks. And that looks really dark, but it will dry down like our previous card. So then I'm going to grab my little piece here for my sentiment. I'm going to line that up with the grid paper. Grab my sentiment. And just kind of as centered as possible. Looks good to me. And that is it for stamping. You could decorate the inside of your card if you'd like. I'm not going to do that. Let me just clean my stamps quickly and put them away, and we'll put our card together. So now that that's all put away, we can put our card together. So I'm going to put adhesive on just the white panel here. I'm just going to go around that circle, and I'm not going to go up too high because I don't want to get adhesive on the outside, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to put a little bit on my designer series paper as well. This might go through the circle, so don't push too hard. Just going to line that up, and this goes all the way to the edge. And there is a little bit of adhesive back there. That is okay. So now I'm just going to put some over the whole thing. And nobody will know that that circle is there. I do a lot of cards like this. It just saves you on your cardstock. So you don't have to cut a whole nother piece of white just to get that circle. Just burnishing my card base with my bone folder. And then I'm just going to kind of center that. I'm going to put our inside piece in. And you don't have to put an inside piece in. I just like a nice white piece of cardstock to write on. The petal pink is light enough that you could write on that. I just like the way this looks. And now I'm going to grab some dimensionals for our palm trees. About 4 of them. I'm going to put it off to the left a little bit. And then no dimensionals for our sentiment. I'm just going to use my seal. And kind of tuck it underneath a little bit. And then we can put our palms, like our leafy thingamabobbers on. So these peel off, like I said, just like a sticker. And now there's adhesive. So I'm going to put one kind of wrapping around the circle. And that sticks up a little bit. That's okay with me. If that bothers you, you could take a tiny dab of liquid glue or maybe ball up a glue dot. It doesn't bother me. We also have a fine tip glue pen that you could use. And so this, my little pieces here didn't come out all the way. So what I like to do is just poke through with a paper piercer and they just come out. There. I'm just going to set this like that. And then before we're finished, we need some bling. Grab my paper piercer again. And these are the 2021 to 2023 in color opal rounds. These are in the annual catalog. I'm going to grab the soft succulent ones. And just pop, 3 of them. We'll do that. I put one on there before, but I like to switch it up. And that is our card that I cased from the catalog. So tell me in the comments if you have ever cased a card, whether it be from the catalog, Pinterest, Google. Let me know. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching me today, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day.